short question and answer session now, which will be chaired by an expert. I'm a plumber, and you need experts to deal with leaks. There we go.
Well, yes, okay. I'm not sure what expertise is required.
Oh, right, okay. I love the idea of a Renaissance government. I wonder who's going to be the Medici of the Renaissance government.
Very good point. Very good point. I think it's a collective. Well, I mean, it's serious.
I'm willing.
Serious point. What?
I'm willing.
There we are. We've got
Well, I've got a rider as well.
okay, what's the rider?
So the rider, and a couple of colleagues here who've heard me go on about this will yawn perhaps, but in 1919, Haldane designed the structure of government.
Yeah.
I haven't read the book yet, but do you refer to that? Because he is the architect of not only the UK government, but arguably many government structures around the world.
Yeah.
Created this silo problem.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense that the Westminster model, which has actually been exported, unfortunately, to a number of countries around the world, although it may have been all quite a sort of cunning ploy to keep them rather off balance. In the sense that it was designed to process stuff, and you'll find in it any number of procedures, for example, about minuting meetings and all the rest of it. So there's sort of some useful, but you know, the basic gaping flaws, I'm afraid he didn't cover. Yeah.
David.
Well, I've only read part of the book, but I thoroughly enjoyed what I read so far.
Thank you.
It seems to me you bring out the problem of too many interested parties who will fight tooth and nail to prevent any change to their own embedded advantage in the system. So my question is, who have you identified as recognising the problem you described and prepared to do something about it?
Well, you're absolutely right, and in fact, the more that I know, people around, as it were, and the more doors that I've knocked on, that people sometimes refer to it as the Westminster bubble. This is not just the political parties and the civil service and the House of Lords, but actually all the think tanks, because they're all dependent on the system. I mean, I worked at PwC. Well, I'm not about to, I think I was reasonably vibrant, but, I'm not about to, be a turkey, as it were. The press also, because an awful lot of the journalists actually depend on leaks, either from the politicians or the civil service, for their news feed and their stories. And, the press these days is just about stories. So pretty much anyone that's going to say anything publicly ain't. So you're then saying, well, okay, who is against or concerned about or wants to change this system? Well, there's UKIP, there's Russell Brand, and actually, I mean, I've gone into print and say, well, look, it's fine. There's the stuff over there. Russell Brand wants to be, sort of be incredibly spiritual. UKIP wants us to leave the EU. Actually, completely wrong answer, because the answer is to reform the EU, because, it'll still be a mess whether in it or out of it. But actually, you step back, and there's quite a big potential coalition of people who are saying this system is bust and it needs changing. But you've got to stop hating each other. So, Russell Brand and Nigel Farage, they hate each other. Well, it's fine, you can do that, once we fix the system, in order that then you can have something that will produce some answers. But in the meantime, join up. The interesting thing, I think, also, is that actually once the system's fixed, I think politics shrinks and shrinks and shrinks, because there just isn't that much. The arguments now are basically over a bus system. So I think I then look at people like Mumsnet. You may think that's strange, but I do. I look at Which. There are online campaigning groups. Some of you, Avaz, Change.org, 38 Degrees. I look at you know, people from The Economist who are writing books saying, look, this is a mess, we've got to change it. There's a lot of people out there, but it needs cohering. And I do wonder, you know, on the one hand, tweet and read the book and have lectures and all the rest of it, but I do wonder if actually we do need, at some stage, a treaty party to bring us to fruition.
One or two final questions? Oh, two questions over here.
Actually, is not the solution, but the partial solution, in a way dealing with the Scots. There has to be a devolution of power and responsibility from Westminster to smaller constituencies who will be more answerable to their electorate.
Let's take the final two questions.
Okay.
Barbara, you were...
Yes, I mean, I think for most of us, this sort of, let's have it managerially competent, let's shrink the political sphere and expand the managerial competence sphere will be quite compelling. The bit that I've always found difficult, both in government and outside, is to see how make that compelling for politicians, who of course want to expand and widen the political differences between them and their opponents, when really that's not the answer at all to the substance of the problem.
And a final question for the evening from our would-be Medici.
Is the problem, yes, Prime Minister? Should we go back to the old stages of government when you get rid of all the civil servants when the government changes and start again and let whatever party it is do what they want to do without interference from civil servants?
Well, yeah, I mean, very quickly, we got politics in the wrong place, okay? Because why do we elect politicians? We elect them to deliver. You know, we don't elect them to promise. We elect them to get something done. Delivery is political, and whether that requires well, it requires much more control and responsibility than they currently have. So the answer to that question, I mean, briefly, I appreciate we're hurrying on, is yes. Barbara, what was it that would pull us? What?
The politicians need
How
as
do we
much...
make it compelling for politicians to actually recognise
Yeah.
that they're there to deliver? not
Because
just
you have a
on
resulter.
social media?
Because it's like, you just passed a law, lads. I mean, you know, the Litter Act, for goodness sake. Or indeed, I take the 1997 Firearms Act, which was in the wake of the Dunblane Massacre, which I personally supported, right? I believe it's had no impact whatsoever on people getting shot, okay? So you're then saying, actually, look, everyone, and it's not just the politicians, it's the electors as well. We need education, we need informing. This law doesn't work. So now where's the politics in stopping that? So you've got people's focus there, and so on. And then the final question...
The Scots.
Devolution. Yeah, well, organisational theory, you decentralise, don't you? And you only do at the centre what you must do at the centre. However, the system of government is as much a mess in local government, where we don't have real local government at all, as much of a mess. I mean, I was just hearing some stories yesterday from Hammersmith and Fulham. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's as much of a mess in Edinburgh. It's as much of a mess in Cardiff, and so on. So why was regional government in the North East rejected when Prescott put it up in 2000? I think essentially because people didn't want another layer of costly inept government. So, yeah, devolve, but we need to devolve into something functioning.
Great. I'm sorry we don't have more time for more questions and answers, but we've been running on a little bit this evening. So go to treatyforgovernment.com
Yep.
to find out more, tweet and follow and form political parties and whatever you may do. Very interested to carry on this conversation, but thank you very much.
Great silence for the master.
And this is the final act. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to get in on all of this, you know. I only do this for a year. First thing I'd like to thank Ed. Thank you. Can you add Ealing, please, to your list of example local authorities? Totally dysfunctional. One of our special guests tonight, fellow master, is from Ealing. He has just confirmed what I've just said. As you all know, my wife was a former councillor. Enough said. I would like particularly to thank Ed. I mean, it was very interesting. Yes, it's in the book. I hope you've all got copies of the book. If you haven't, Benjamin's got a small. Benjamin's still got a pile here, but they're over there now. And Ed will be doing further signings before you leave, so please remember to get a copy if you haven't got one. So as I said, I'd love to thank tonight, please, my visiting colleague masters and their clerks. I'd like to thank Mervyn, our Beadle, and Julie, our now installed learned clerk. Because actually, many of you may not have noticed, we seem to have been tad accident prone tonight and let down by one or two little accidents. Nothing to do with this company. We can create our own problems. This was nothing. They were solving other people's problems. Good management consultants, both of you. Thank you very much for looking after us. I would also thank the catering team that have disappeared to do their stuff. I think I can give you a weather forecast. I think it stopped raining, so it's gone. And I'd just like to all wish you a safe journey home tonight, and thank you all for attending, and I hope you really enjoyed the evening. Thank you all.